everybody, my name is Gustavo Rodriguez,
I'm Chris Rear.
and the topic we will be presenting to you today on is non-traditional foundations. To kick things off, we're going to talk about the traditional foundations that are seen throughout the construction industry.
One of the first traditional foundations you'll see is the continuous footing. All it is a 2 or 3 foot wide by 2 or 3 foot deep excavation that you drop steel in and fill concrete. It ties into your walls or slab with dowels that stick up.
The next foundation is going to be drilled piers and grade beams. So the length of these piers is going to be based on the conditions found on the site, and you usually want to drill up to bedrock. So what this includes is you auger your pier out, you set your rebar cage in there, then you place your concrete on top. The grade beam would sit from pier to pier.
Another traditional foundation style is the raft slab. It's typically just found in residential construction. It's just a thickened edge on a slab on grade. And then now we'll discuss the non-traditional foundations.
Okay, so to kick things off, we'll talk about pile foundations. So pile foundations, they can either be timbers, steel, or concrete. When they're concrete, they're usually precast. There's 3 methods they use to set those piles. So you have your impact-driven method, water jetting, and augering. And when you use the augering method, you use a combination of both the impact-driven method and augering. First, what they'll do is they'll auger the pier out, and then they'll come back later with their diesel driver and drive those in. The next type of non-traditional foundation, we have helical piers.
The helical pier is kind of like a pile, except for it is done with an attachment, typically on a bobcat or front-loading equipment. You use the attachment and you find the areas that they'll go, and then you place them and attach it to the equipment attachment and begin drilling, and the helical auger tip will continue to drive it down. Benefit of it is it disrupts less soil, and depending the shaft type, it can prevent water from trickling down and causing disruption to the soil.
Okay, next we'll talk about micropiles. Chris?
The micropile is oftentimes used for smaller loads. You typically see it when residential construction is fixing foundations or some new residential construction. The disadvantage of this compared to a regular pile is that it doesn't support as much weight, and so you typically have more of them, or you'll have to use a more bigger size pile to get down into soil that's able to be used.
So lastly, we'll be talking about the ramjack aggregate piers. So a company by the name of Geo Piers, they kind of patented this method, and they were the first to come up with the method. So what it involves, they'll go down and they'll auger that pier, and what they'll do is they'll set aggregate in there, and they'll do it by level. So you'll set your first set of aggregate, you'll compact that down, and then so forth. So the good thing about these type of foundations is that they're very cost effective, and it's a pretty fast process. So we want to thank you guys